It has finally cooled down here in Misano, but that was not the case when it came to the race. Scorching hot track action. It was fantastic. Jamie Chadwick extends her lead in the championship standings despite immense pressure from Bikes-Gewisse, and obviously you saw Fabienne Volland taking her first piece of W Series silverware, and I think she is still behind me. Perfect, that's great time. We're going to interrupt her conversation with Sarah. If you don't mind, Jamie, firstly, congratulations, another W Series win. Oh, massive electric shock there. That's these trainers. Do you get them? Did you not get that?
No, but I felt it through you because you just looked at me with like a face as if you'd just been electrocuted, so...
Well, sorry about that.
That's all right, no worries. I've been playing with these all day and they keep undone, so I'm going to stand away from all of this.
Well, Jamie, you've been fantastic for me this weekend because I've managed to get a lot of insight from you. And we spoke at the start of the race and you felt it could be a race that was decided on tyres. It didn't look as though that was the case in the end.
No, I feel like I've been giving you info, but all of it's not been that relevant anyway. Everything I think is going to happen doesn't happen, so it's not been particularly relevant. But yeah, I knew it'd be on the start, but then I thought I was going to have to manage the tyres, which I kind of did out front a little bit, but even by the end of the race, it didn't go off too badly. So yeah, I'm sort of managing my race more to bikes go behind rather than, you know, what the tyres were doing as such. But yeah, it was sort of just hanging in there. It's quite a long race, so just try not to make any mistakes.
There were a couple of moments, and at one point I flashed back to what we were talking about on another point at this weekend, which is in previous races you've had a little bit of an issue with downshifting and braking. Was that what that was?
Yeah, a little bit. I said to myself going into that, I'm not going to make the same mistake that I made in the last two races. Even if I finish last, I'm not making that same mistake. And a couple of times I felt that coming on a little bit. It's more just getting a bit greedy with the downshift, and you come off a really fast right-hander into a hairpin, and it's quite easy to do. So yeah, I sort of erred on the side of caution there, gapped to where I could, and sort of felt fairly in control because of that.
Well, a really important win today in front of Bikes-Gewisse. You've extended your lead in the championship standings. Job done. Well done.
Thank you.
We'll see you next time out. Thank you so much. Okay, let's head over here and have a word with Alice Powell. Unfortunately for Alice, her race didn't go much beyond turn one. Luckily, she is okay because it was huge. Alice, I'm just telling everybody about your unfortunate
Yeah.
It was airborne.
It was. Naomi said I didn't do a good enough job, so...
I think you're being harsh. No.
She needs to do a better job next time at flying, but not too bad, not too bad.
I don't know. I think you've got a future career as a motocross rider.
That I'm never getting on a bike. He said I'd be dangerous if I got on a bike, so now it's safe that I don't get on a bike, to be honest.
Is this your fiance?
It is my fiance, yeah, James.
Good choice.
Way, there you go.
Anyway, moving onwards, looking to the Norris Ring. In regard to the championship standings, it has had a bit of a knock, but 3 races still to go. Enough time to chase back some ground?
Yeah, I mean, the front two, so Jamie and Beitske, it's going to be really tough, I think, to catch them. It needs something to go wrong, like happened to me today, or, you know, yeah. I've dropped, obviously, now to 4th, but I don't think I'm that far behind Marta, so I just need to try and get as many points as possible for the next 3 races. Yeah, the unfortunate thing is I keep the car that I've got, which, you know, I've not really been getting on with, safe to say, the past couple of days. But, you know, Norris Ring, different circuit. I've never been there. It looks totally different to here. So who knows what can happen.
Well, I hope you get that vibration issue sorted out for the Norris Ring, and I won't be there, but it was lovely to meet you. Sorry for coming and shoving a camera in your face the minute you're walking back into pit lane. I did feel really bad.
That's okay.
Nice to meet you. All right. I tell you what, let's wander back over here and interrupt Alan, if we can, and just find out what he made, and Lee McKenzie. I feel like we have to get, firstly, I'm coming sit down. Oh, I'm so thirsty. I might have to steal that drink. I'm going to start off with, what is it?
It's chamomile tea.
Oh.
After the intense race.
My nerves were all of favour. It was brilliant. It was a really great race, Alan. It was obviously your first W Series race. What did you make of it?
It was tight from the start to the finish. I think there was a bit, maybe too much excitement off the line with Alice Powell and that huge move into turn 1 that didn't quite come off. But then after that, Jamie drove a fantastic race with the pressure she was under for 30 minutes. We've got to just consider that by two drivers who I think were a little bit quicker. I think Visser was a bit quicker, and then Volvend not quite getting the run off the line that wanted to come back. So from that point of view, I think there was quite a bit of pressure. Delivered it very, very well. But behind it, there's a few stories as well with like Koyama getting a 4th place, and that will give her confidence going into Norris Ring without a doubt.
Lee, I want to talk to you about Fabian, because you're really lucky you get to speak to our podium finishers. I saw how excited she was yesterday to pick up her first pole position. What was her reaction in Parc Ferme?
Well, it's an interesting one, because in motorsport you get so used to interviewing people who naturally only want to finish the race higher than where they started on the grid, and if you start in pole position you want to finish at the front. But I think she understood this was a huge step forward for her in terms of a race weekend. You know, she's very handy in sports cars, but in single seater she's sort of still finding her way. She says that, you know, the start just didn't go her way, but my goodness, these cars must be strong. They must be built like tanks, because the hit that she had at the start, I thought after lap 1 she'd be coming into the pit lane, and yet here she was, like, still going around and fighting hard for that third. Alan's got a picture.
Alan's got the snapshot. Can we just look at this very quickly? Can you see that? That's insane. Thanks so much, Lee. I think it's about time.
Lovely to have you here this weekend.
Oh, it's been a pleasure. And
Ted, but it's been so much better.
Anyway, let's go and hear from some more of the drivers.
Yeah, it's quite tricky to follow somebody. You get quite a lot of understeer if you get close, so never could get quite close enough to make a move. Also, if you stay close behind another car, you screw up your tires a bit. But yeah, in the end, happy with P2. Good points for the championship. So yeah.
Yeah, I start on pole. Of course, you want to finish on pole as well. But yeah, I got a hit from Alice on the start. She really just hit my front tire, and I was really hoping that my car is still in one piece. But yeah, I kept going flat out and brought some trophies home, which was my goal for this weekend, so I couldn't be happier.
Vicky, you were hoping for a big result as it was your home Grand Prix this weekend. You got one. Almost was a 4th, but in the end, Mickey found a way around you. But just explain to us what happened.
Well, basically, I just had an electronic failure. Luckily, it just happened once, but I was outside turn 8, just doing my line, and then like the car switched off and on. And I was like so angry, so angry. My poor engineer's ears. But then, you know, to be honest, she was fast. She was faster than me, so you know, I could have held her up because I was holding her up that moment, but you know, she deserved it in a way. So I'm still happy with P5. Before I got here, I said I wanted to be top 5, and so I reached my goal. It was a realistic goal, and I got it. And it's really good for me to build up my confidence, you know, for the next races.
Caitlin, you had a big job on your hands today with what happened to you in qualifying and your front suspension, but you did manage to make up a few places. Run us through how it went for you.
Yeah, I got a really good start, so able to get off the line quite well, and I think make up 3 spots just there. And as you saw from the race, pretty much where you qualified was where you finished, so we were chipping away at it as much as we could. But yeah, from P19 we finished P14. I'm pretty sure that's where we ended up. So it's yeah, not where we wanted to be. I definitely wanted to try and crack the points, but it was really difficult out there to make a move stick. Everyone is really close all throughout the grid, as you can see. So to make that move stick, you've got to really yeah, really be side by side to make it safe. So yeah, unfortunately we just didn't have it today, and yeah, I've just got to keep moving forward. And you know, the qualifying really set us back a bit, but unfortunately these things happen.
Sarah, 9th today. At one point we could see that you were at the front of that second group. It looked as though you just locked up position. Talk us through the race.
Yeah, I had a fantastic start. It was a shame what happened to Alice. I just hope she's okay. From there, I didn't get the best of restarts, so I ended up just defending from the guys behind me. I managed to pull a bit of a gap and then made a couple of mistakes, so Sabre managed to catch up. I did a good job defending. I think it was the second to last lap where she got me. Missed a gear going into turn 2, so had to run turn 3 in 4th gear. So they managed to catch up a lot and get a good run on me. So yeah, Sabre gave me a good fight. It was nice to be at the front of it though for as long as possible. I managed to defend from the person behind getting through. So yeah, I'm happy with that. I lost the place to where I started, but I enjoyed the race. So.
Sarah, coming into this weekend, you actually knew that you were participating in the whole thing, so that must have helped you out at start. You finished 12th. How did you feel about the race?
Yeah, well, definitely I'm happy. I was starting 12th, I finished 12th. I think it's good for a first race in open wheel car since the last 15 years. I'm afraid to say so, but yeah, it was 15 years ago the last time. I had a good pace. I was constantly catching up and getting, in contact with, I think, the cars from top 8 to 12. It was very, very close all the race. But obviously I'm a bit rusty. I need to be more sharp on my start procedure, sharper on my dealing with the traffic. But I knew coming here with a lack of training for sure, I couldn't do everything perfect from the first time. So I'm just happy I finished without damage on the car. I could start this time. So yeah, you will see a smile on my face during the rest of the day.
Tasman, you made up a place today, and it looked as though you were actually starting to put a bit of pressure on Marta there in the closing stages. How did you feel it went today?
Yeah, I'm happy with my pace in the race. Obviously, starting back so far back makes it more difficult to make a few more positions because the girls in front are really fast. So yeah, I closed up nicely on Marta, but she was quite defensive, and it was very difficult to get around her. And in the last 2 laps, I just kept locking up the front, so that's what made the gap again. But yeah, I didn't want to make any more mistakes towards the end and lose any more positions, so I just took it back a notch. I knew I wasn't going to catch her again once I made the initial mistake. But yeah, I'm really happy. The car was really good, and I just got to keep making step forward.
Vivian, your first full race today, we should say, and you've managed to pick up your first W Series points. How did you feel it went?
It was really amazing. At the start, it wasn't that good as I planned, but I'm really happy that I could catch up with the girls and keep fighting for the positions, and I couldn't be more happy. I'm really blessed to race in W Series.
I actually think the race was quite good. I think we got a much better first couple of laps than what I usually get. Normally I get a terrible first few laps and then it's backwards from there, but I got an all right start. Picked a couple off one by one, then caught the next, and then made a mistake and lost one, but I was always going forward, which is great, and I think I was quite quick. I felt quick. It was tough the last few laps, like fatigue, but I think everybody started to fall back a bit, and I may be tired just 1 or 2 laps later, so I took advantage of that. But no, it is frustrating, but on the positive side, I think that I can go away happy with what happened on Friday testing. We can take that as a positive. And that's comforting to know that the pace is there. I've just got to sort my head out for qualifying, because that's what I'm going to do between. I'm going to sort my head out, because I think that I am my own worst enemy, and if I can cure that, then the pace is there. So we'll sort qualifying out, and then the race will be a lot easier.
Gosh, yeah, P13 today, we were expecting a really hard physical one, and that's exactly how it turned out to be. Run me through it from your point of view.
Yeah, so in general, through the whole weekend, I was really struggling to get into speed in this mid-speed corners. I was carrying not enough speed in the corner and out from the corner, so yeah, not trusting the Formula car. Yeah, P13 is not my dream result. My aim was to get the points. I was starting P11, so yeah, at the start I got a bit of wheel spin, so got overtaken, and then it was just like one big train, like following one after another. Because yeah, when someone did a massive mistake, it was really not a chance to overtake.
So unfortunate that I had to take the penalty, but I had a strong race. I mean, I didn't have such a great start, so I put myself on a back foot from there, but I made up some places again and finished 11th, so I was happy with that. It's my best result so far, just short of a point, but hey-ho, the next one we'll go for. But I think round here I was expecting it to be a lot easier to overtake, and it wasn't as easy as I thought it would be. But yeah, I was happy because I made a few moves and gained a few more places. So yeah, it was a great race, and I'm just really happy that I could come back from Zolder with a positive.
I'm super happy to have scored points today, and just really want to take this momentum into the next races, into the end of the season. But I'm feeling great. You know, scoring P8 today feels like a podium for me. So I'm really happy with my progress, and really thank W Series for letting me have this opportunity.
Megan, obviously we know that each round, each circuit is a brand new experience for you. Just run us through how you felt the race went today.
So I made a good start off the line, but unfortunately didn't go for a gap that was there, and because of that I dropped back right the way to the back of the field. And from there I was running decent lap times that You know, had I been with the top 10, I would have been running with them, but same lap times as them. But in the end, the finishing position is what counts in the race. So, yeah, disappointed with the end result of it, but I know that there's definitely something to build on from there. So I'm really looking forward to the next race.
I'm not happy because my pace was good, maybe. Then I couldn't overtake already. That's why. So front 1 to 3 is a bit far. That's why. Yes, I couldn't get the podium.
Marta, 6th today here in Misano. Do you feel like perhaps the race was already really decided for you in FP2 yesterday? That set you back, and then in qualifying you perhaps didn't get the position you were looking for. Run us through how it went.
Well, obviously, not doing the free practice 2 yesterday was quite bad because you couldn't practice what you had to improve. But still, today in the qualifying, I didn't expect to be 7, like quite far off the time. But yeah, I mean, it's difficult if you don't do the day before, if you lose 40 minutes of practice. So yeah, it's a bit unlucky, but well, that happens. And in the race, I just started 7, I finished 6th. My rhythm was not so good in the beginning. Maybe in the last 4 laps was better, but it was already too late. So yeah, I mean, it's not the best weekend, but...
Why was it so difficult to pass today? It looked like it was the same case for everyone.
Yeah, I mean, it's actually not a track so difficult to pass because there's quite a lot of points that you can overtake. But yeah, I mean, if someone closes on or everything, it's quite difficult.
Shay, 17th today in Misano. Obviously for you, again, it's coming to each circuit, picking it up, and then trying to put it together for the race. How did you feel it went today?
Actually, I'm pretty proud of my performance today. I mean, I struggled a little bit throughout the race weekend. I'd say 60% of it was, you know, driving, not error, but inaccuracy. And then we ended up finding like a small nuance with the car, like a little bit of a braking issue. So it's kind of nice from a driver's perspective to at least have something else to blame, but I don't want to focus on that. Like ultimately there was things that I needed to work on, and unfortunately it came together a little too late for me as I didn't qualify as well as I was anticipating. But the race for me, the whole goal was to be consistent. We were extremely consistent as well as getting faster throughout the race. Had actually even a good battle even in the back. I'm very proud of our crew. I'm very proud of my efforts, and again I'm very thankful to be here, and I'm working extremely hard. I know what this opportunity is, and I know what I can turn it into for myself. And again, third race of the season. It's definitely empowering and inspiring, and it pushes me because the competition is so tough here. Just to keep chipping away, and when we go into the next race weekend, there's a couple things that I know I want to work on. I want to work on my starts. I want to work on my restarts. If there was anything that I left this race that I was upset about was my restart. There's a couple notes that I'm taking away from a few other girls, like jumping the start. But overall, I'm really happy, and we're collecting more points and collecting more data and moving on.
Okay, so the W Series has it's got a lovely break now until our next round, which is in the Norris Ring. Lee, what is that? It's a street circuit, right?
It's a street circuit. It's like wacky races no matter what series goes there. It's the most simple and yet complicated track I think I've probably ever seen. It's essentially, 2 hairpins and 2 straights, a little bit of a sort of jiggle in between, and you cannot imagine how monumentally wrong people get things. I'm looking at you.
Why are you looking at me? I went there once, and I was 2/10 off quickest, and I was 19th. And I thought, how difficult can 4 corners be? But the fact is, they can be really, really tricky. Thing is, you can really overtake there. So it's going to produce a fantastic race without a shadow of a doubt.
Can't wait. We'll see you there.